Was Ben Stein wrong about economics? A lot of, remember Ben Stein, who did the Bueller thing into the Ferris Bueller's Day Off thing? That was a funny movie. A lot of the anti-tariff people are showing this, flooding social media with the Ben Stein commentary on tariffs in that movie. And they're saying just basic economics. Ben Stein talked about tariffs as an economics teacher in the Ferris Bueller's Day Off movie. I always chuckle, because I like Ben Stein. Ben Stein actually, I think he moved to Greenville, South Carolina, or became a big fan of Greenville, South Carolina. Because Greenville, South Carolina crushes, dude. If you've never been there, dude, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. Big fan, long time. The triangle of Greenville, South Carolina, to Chattanooga, Tennessee, to Huntsville, Alabama, dude, that is like the perfect place to live, 100%. The only drawback is there's no ocean. And, you know, being me from an island in Maine, I like the ocean. The smell of seagulls, the sounds of foghorns, the fog rolling in. I love it. Anyway, going back to Ben Stein. So Ben Stein's take on tariffs has all the economists like, yeah, look, Ben Stein, he shows the idiots, the anti-tariff idiots, Ben Stein, just basic economics. And the irony of all irony, I remember this like it was yesterday. Ben Stein, in the beginning, probably the beginning stages of the war in Iraq, probably the second year in or something like that, was on some TV show, Lou Dobbs or something like that, saying we need to raise taxes on the wealthy to fund the war. He said if these kids can go in there and risk their lives, we should ask more from the highest earning taxpayers to help out with the cost of this. And I'm not repeating it verbatim because I don't remember exactly, but I remember him advocating increase in taxes on the wealthy. And I said, damn, Ben Stein, because I was against that, dude. I was such a freaking GOP establishment guy. I mean, I don't want to say, I was never a GOP establishment guy. I supported Buchanan in 1992. I voted for Ross Perot in 1992. I supported Harry Brown in 1996, the Libertarian Party. I was head over heels for George W. Bush. I thought for sure that if Al Gore won, they're going to regulate handguns. Because remember, Al Gore is running on a platform of regulating handguns. You had to register your handgun with a federal government, just like they did in Canada and Australia. And I was 100% voicefully against that. Voicefully? I don't know if that's the right word. Voicefully, whatever that word is. 100%. I said, hell no, we won't go. And I said, because they start regulating handguns, it's only, soon you'll be in a fascist state. And sometimes I'm not against a fascist state, but a fascist left-wing state, I am. Fascist right-wing state, that's fine. Fascist left-wing state, no, don't want that. Look what happened in Australia. Look what happened in Canada during the COVID stuff. Look what happened in UK. I mean, the thing is, once they start regulating handguns, your days of freedom are numbered. That's just a fact, a jack. Anyway, so I was big time, very passionate about George W. Bush because the handgun thing really freaking irked me. I'll never forget Al Gore. We need to regulate and register handguns. I could not believe it. I said, screw you, dude. Anyway, so, and then in 2004 came along. I was, again, a huge Bush guy. It's like, oh my goodness, we're going to lose the war in Iraq. And just, that was it. Again, not GOP establishment, but I was big on the war in Iraq, big on the war in Afghanistan. Hell, I was big on even taking Iran out. Definitely no raise taxes on the wealthy, because ultimately they'll come back and raise tax on us. Just all a scam, dude. All just a scam. And I fell for it hook, line, and sinker. But be it as it may, you live and learn. As you age, you see, the error of your ways. But I remember Ben Stein saying, we've got to raise taxes on the wealthy. And I remember saying, hell no! What are you talking about? You know, I think I was a big corporatist. The wealthy pay taxes more than anyone else does it anyway, and the wealthy, they know the corporations are more trustworthy than the government. Look at Ruby Ridge, look at Waco. And then going in hindsight, I said, yeah, and look at all the other stuff the corporations have done. Anyway, so it's funny. So the economists who say Ben Stein setting these little freaking tweets out there about Ben Stein, his economic class, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off about how everyone knows terrorists are bad. And you have the same Ben Stein who said we got to raise taxes on the wealthy. I find it funny. Economist, he's right here, but he's wrong there. Okay, well, that's fine. But you don't ever say that, do you? You always say Ben Stein, anti-tariff. And I'm like, how about Ben Stein, pro-tax raising? All right, God bless. Let me your thoughts. Smash that like button. Look at that Toronto Blue Jays shirt. Yeah, I did wear it yesterday. Freaking Blue Jays. The best, one of the best logos in all sports. I mean, the Boston Bruins Spike B, that is fantastic. That is fantastic. The Chicago Blackhawks, that is fantastic. I still love the Raiders logo. What's the best logo? Man, the gay pirate from Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Love that guy. The Creamsicles, that guy crushed. Pat the Patriot, freaking bring back Pat. I love the old Denver Broncos with the D and the horse in there. That's fantastic. What's the best logo in sports? Put it in the show notes. I love to hear it take. I love that stuff. And the New York Yankees N and a Y, that's the worst. Everyone knows that logo sucks. So don't put the Yankees in there because you'll be banned. All right, God bless.